This episode of Rugly is brought to you in near dark or dusk light, so as to avoid your eyes being, abused by the fugliness before you. Anyway, let's talk about the idea of walk-ins. So, if you're not familiar with the idea of walk-in, a walk-in is when self-spirit is pushed out and the walk-in pushes in and acts like they own the joint. Typically, you'll find that a walk-in spirit or spirits tend to be a little bit more domineering than the vessel that encounters them, and so they more like push-ins. Okay, and they seem to have an attitude of people's vehicles being real estate to acquire. And so one wonders if Donald Trump is a walk-in. Have you noticed that in the last 10 years or so, he hasn't quite been behaving like himself? He hasn't been behaving like a real estate mogul that's interested in domineering the landscape with his real estate portfolios and lots of billions of dollars and whatever else, and his face being all over the television. He's changed. He's become someone who almost never appears on television. He's not obsessed with money anymore, or women, or grabbing them by their private parts, or whatever catchphrases he's known for, like make a deal. It's not like he personally, spiritually, could have been a walk-in with one Julian Assange as part of his extraordinary rendition in some kind of astral plane associated with a lower eight sphere. I mean, there's no possibility that him and his Musk characters and buddies want to be the grand pure reality by, say, attempting to possess someone who got the Ezekiel wheel, because that might let them dominate reality somehow, especially if they put artificial intelligence on it. There's no possibilities that some lowly Dalit woman could possibly be a viable space of real estate for someone like that to act as a walk-in. No, that's only for the presidential wannabes, like Joe Biden, for example. Now, Joe Biden, he's a real walk-in, okay? He walks in with a walker, okay, and a bottle of Johnny Walker as well, because he's a glug-glug drunk. And what you'll know about Joe Biden is that he thinks he's a musician, but he's not really a musician at all. He can't sing for shit. Everything he does is a parody, and none of it's funny. So, with all due respect, our dear Fuhrer, Lord and Master of reality and true goat, Donald Trump, is nothing more than a walk-in. He's walked into your Oval Office. He's walked into your Oval Office, and like an old man, he's sat down, and everyone's been too polite to say, sorry, but we used to have this policy called, was it diversity? As the stand for equity and inclusion. Usually means the old people get to sit down on the bus first, but seeing as this is not your office, and we're going to have to follow the old chivalry road rules that you claim to come from due to your archaic worldview, sir, and say that a woman should be sitting on the chair. Is it not the case if you're following the old rules of chivalry that the man opens the door for the woman and she gets to sit down first? Well, considering he hasn't done that, Kamala Harris isn't even allowed in the bloody joint. We're gonna point out that Donald Trump is probably just a walk-in, a very tired old walk-in who just thought to sit down and treat it like a throne because everywhere he goes, he shits. Okay, so without further ado, there's a walkout situation. We're probably of the understanding at this point that there's some reason to believe that there's factionalism going on with the US military, where there are some that would support the instigation of a fascist coup and others that would not. And in both cases, they may have been utilised through financial corrupt means, as well as SpaceX, to engage in some kind of abuse of a foreign national for the purposes of using an existing system of esotericism for international terrorism activities. And so, without further ado, it might be the case that it's actually Vladimir Putin who's the walking in Donald Trump's head. I mean, Vladimir Putin, after all, is there is a Scorpio theme going on here. King Charles III's a Scorpio, Vladimir Putin's a Scorpio, Joe Biden was a Scorpio. Heck, Weird Al Yankovic's a Scorpio. So I'm going to have to guess and say Donald Trump has been replaced by a Scorpio. And subsequently, that's probably Vladimir Putin. So we'd like to congratulate President Vladimir Putin of the, United States of Arsolia, on your esoteric satanic coup, as well as your artificial intelligence coup with the tech bros. We suspect the Russian hackers and the Chinese hackers that were working with the United States Space Force will be paid handsomely by COINTELPRO in the near future. Have a nice apocalypse.